Alright folks, welcome to another beer review, and today we're revisiting a beer that I haven't had since, I've written it down, the 8th of July 2016, when I reviewed this for my 100th beer review special, back when I was probably not as fat as I am now, but also when I actually put a little bit of effort into beer reviews. So link will be down below. So yeah, this is the Espresso Stout from Hitachino Nest Beer, clocking in at, what's the ABV? 7% ABV. Really awesome artwork. I love the Hitachino Nest artwork, and the lighting has completely changed. So yeah, I can't believe that I've not had this beer since, God, how long is that now? 7 years ago. I can't believe I've been wasting 7 years, if not more, of my life doing this. But people keep watching it, so I massively appreciate it. Why people are probably still subscribed from back then, I will never know, but I do appreciate it. So obviously I was living back in Germany, picked this up from Beeretta, a fantastic bottle shop, and yeah, like I said, slightly less plump than I am now. Believe it or not, my hairstyle was even worse back then. But I was in what I thought was, well, it was at the time, a happy relationship. But like most things in life, it all turns to shite. But you live, you learn, you move on. And every now and then you do dwell a little. But it is what it is. And I didn't intentionally wear an oriental themed t-shirt for this review. It's just what I had on, and I proper felt in the mood to review this. So there is a little bit of a blurb on the bottle. So, a deep and profound stout brewed with well roasted coffee beans. This beer has a remarkable espresso-like aroma and full mellow flavour with peanut. Pleasant. How can you mix up the word peanut with pleasant? Bitterness and acidity. So there is a little bit of a blurb because I've started to write notes, especially if there's information that's not being stated on the label. This espresso stout is brewed using well-roasted espresso beans. The recipe is based on the imperial stout loved by the Russian emperor, not Putin. Please enjoy the balance of its rich taste and coffee flavour. So the hops are Chinook and Kent Golding. Malts are pale, crystal, black and chocolate, and then other is roasted barley and coffee beans. It's got an average rating of 3.73 on Untappd, based on 41,400 ratings. My good friend Harry, aka Blue Nose Beer Reviews, gave it a 4.25 out of 10, or out of 5 because it's Untappd. And like I said, had this way back in 2016 for my 100th beer review special. And you can clearly tell I've had a lot of beers since then. Beautifully presented as per usual. Picked this up from Beermoth on a recent trip to Manchester. The price tag has fallen off and I nearly dropped the beer then because it's got really slippy because of condensation, because it has been in the fridge. And yeah, using my carnival glass for this one. So I cannot for the life of me, because I dare not watch back the original review. If you want to do so, then link will be included in the description. So I think I remember really enjoying it, and I also think that this might have been one of like the first coffee stouts that I conscientiously had. I know there was a 2-0 one from probably around the same time, which I might have had before this one. I can't remember. There was a review of that on the channel as well. For some reason I want to say cow milk, but I don't think it's called cow milk. Anyway, beer in the glass then, and pretty much jet black in the glass, although there are some shades of brown and hints of brown bleeding around the sort of like edges of the glass, and it certainly looks like an espresso, albeit a really large espresso, because espresso is just like a tiny little, well, it's express, isn't it? I don't know. Is espresso? I don't know. Don't try and work out the Italian language when you've never spent a single morsel of your already low IQ trying to learn the language. But it looks like coffee, and if you don't know by now, I absolutely love the concept of coffee in beer. No matter what the style, it's just a marriage made in heaven. If you're hearing a timer, that's because I interrupted me frying some chips for my tea. I've just come off reviewing an absolutely stonking beer from Trillium. It's a school night, so probably shouldn't really be drinking, but I'm in the mood. It's swelteringly warm recently, and yeah, I thought it was high time I revisit this beer and actually have something from Hitachino Nest, who of course brewed by Kiuchi Brewery and imported by James Clay. So yeah, looking forward to this one. I have no preconceptions, so like I said, I'm not going to watch back an old video of me, mainly because I don't like watching myself anyway. Also, probably in a better, healthier position than I was, plus I was getting regular sex, so don't want to really think about that, to be honest. That was a joke, by the way, though it wasn't. Anyway, depression over, let's give it a sniff. Ooh. Do you know what that smells like? Oh, I always forget the name of the brand. That coffee liqueur that's in a yellow and red label. It's got a really sort of like syrupy, coffee-like aroma. But the coffee is definitely there. Really nice, sticky, almost like dark fruity sort of malts coming through. Very subtle earthiness there, which I'm going to attribute to not only the earthiness of the coffee beans, but also the selection of hops. And yeah, the Chinook. I always get the names Chinook, Cascade and Centennial mixed up, even though different syllables, different sounding words, different collection of letters and vowels, but I'm just a little bit... Anyway, so there is like this slight American hoppy aroma, not too much though, it's very, very subtle, yet evident. But it smells absolutely wonderful, so let's get stuck right in. Cheers, folks. Oh, that is very, very nice indeed. The body on this, very, very smooth. You know, you sometimes get like an oily coffee. That's what it's like. It does taste a little bit like cold brew. It's got that slight ashy sort of flavour that some instant coffees have. A little bit of bitterness as well. Very nice dark chocolate element to it. That's a very good coffee stout. And I've not had a coffee stout for absolutely ages. So it's probably tasting like a really, really, really good coffee stout, because I've not had a coffee stout to have a level of reference to. But man, this is good. This is very, very good indeed. But it does exactly what it says on the bottle. It's coffee, a little bit of chocolate, very sort of like dark, dense toffee flavour. Not really that sweet. Nice bitterness and earthiness. Just a very simple yet well executed coffee stout. And I just can't believe it's taken me 4 years to actually 4 years. 7 years to revisit it. Because I have seen it about in quite a few places over the past couple of years. And it's one of those ones where I'm like, I remember that being really, really good. I should really pick up not only this beer, but get some more Hitachino Nest beers. You don't really see the big bottles, like the limited releases, because I know they do a barrel-aged version of this. Wow. Could that have been like a barrel-aged, because let's face it, barrel-aged coffee, oh my god, what's the Magic Rock beer, which again I've not had for years and it's one of my favourite beers. Common Grounds, the barrel-aged version of that, the cask version of that, just any version of Common Grounds is just, blah. Magic Rock, we don't really talk about that brewery. Well, some people don't. I don't give a flying fuck, really, about that side of things. If you sell out, you sell out. I don't know if they fucked over, like, people who worked there prior to when they first got bought out. I don't know what the business practices are, but as long as you're not being a scumbag with your employees, then I don't care who buys you, I don't care who you sell to, I don't care how much money you've made from a company that you've built from the ground up. But then again, it's money at the end of the day, money talks. We just have to get used to it. Do you know what I mean? There's no point skriking over big corporations because they're here to stay. We should be fighting back. We should be fighting back against the banks and the world governments who want to have a universal digital currency, because that will never end well. It'll get to the point where they will literally control what we buy and say, no, you're not buying that with your money. Our money, I should say. But yeah, a barrel-aged version of this, that would be absolutely wonderful to see what that is. And I think they do different variants as well in different barrels. But when I was in Germany, the bottle shop Beretta, you saw us every now and then get big bottles of special beers from Hitachino Nest. There's probably bottle shops all around the country that are selling limited releases and one-offs and stuff like that, but you just never really see them. I know some supermarkets stock the rice lager and things like that. But yeah, if you like your coffee beer, and you like your coffee stout, and you like that because it's a really good stout, beautiful texture to it, you wouldn't expect it. I don't know why you wouldn't. Plus, I love beers in bottles. I miss craft bottles. Because everyone's going to cans and freshness and cold fucking storage and transportation. Want to give you the freshest experience. But do you know what? Stuff like this, I want in bottles. It's like that romanticism of big bottles of American stouts and stuff. There's just something satisfying about cracking open a bottle and sharing it with your friends at a bottle share. You don't get that same sort of effect when you're just pouring measures from a can. Commercialisation, it's bringing this society and this world down, and we need to fight back. Just Stop Oil. If you see a Just Stop Oil protester in the streets, run them over. Anyway, so that's absolutely banging. It's not massively big, it's not massively in your face, but what it is just a really well brewed, simple yet flavoursome and robust coffee infused stout. Nice stout to begin with. You add the coffee, doesn't overpower, doesn't take it into an insane direction. If you like your espressos, if you like your cold brew coffee, that's what it tastes like, that's what it reminds me of. And I think at its heart, if we're going to get, you know, emotionally attached to beer styles and principles, then that's what a coffee stout should be like on a fundamental level. But then again, if you get like a big pastry stout that's got coffee in it, it tastes absolutely amazing. It's going to taste absolutely amazing. I'm going to jizz my pants about it. But this, there's just something so satisfying about having a beer like that. And yeah, I'd imagine it's one of those beers that often gets overlooked in the beer fridges, and you're missing out on a really good beer. I say that, it's had an absolutely insane amount of check-ins on Untappd. And then you've got to think about all the people who don't have or even know about Untappd and they buy this beer. There's probably loads of people who buy this beer on a regular basis and are just absolutely enjoying it. But still, to get over like 40,000 check-ins, it completely defeats what I've just said about overlooking this beer. So if you like your coffee beers, if you like your stouts, check this out. And yeah, it's beautiful stuff. And I'm getting really hungry. It's approaching 9 o'clock, and I interrupted cooking chips in an air fryer for you. So links in the description. If you want to cringe, then there will be my original review of this in the description as well. Although I really like the introductions I used to do to the Milestone beer reviews, but then I just thought, what's the point? But anyway, cheers. If anybody actually was around when they watched that review and you still watch me on a regular basis, thank you so much. I don't know why you continue to watch this absolute travesty of a beer review channel. But I really appreciate it. And comment down below if you actually remember me reviewing this. Fuel my ego. Give me a little bit of a tickle. Anyway, cheers for watching. If you tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. All the information in the description. Thank you. Bye bye. I've got chips to cook and devour. Ta-ra.